Garrett Blevins here again with week 9 of the cube, which is normally that week 9 would just be one more week of the cycle, but I I'm doing my testing this week. I cut out the last week of the cycle because I was looking at when the competition is in July and how to best optimize my training cycles leading up to it. I knew I'd already made some strength gains in this cycle of the cube, and so I decided to test since I was pretty sure I'd already got my 5 pound increases on each lift. Here I put in a couple of the warm-ups for squats. Went into the gym today. Pretty much I gave myself about 30 minutes to warm up, 30 minutes to hit my 3 attempts, so 10-minute rest in between each of them, and then about 12 minutes of rest before I started warming up again. Now that's actually cutting it short. Normally I'd have about 30 minutes in between finishing, say, squats, 30 minutes of downtime, and then 30 minutes of warming up. At least that's the way it's been at the competitions I've been at so far. My warm-ups for squats went really well. I planned my opener a little heavy today, but it's just because squats have been feeling really good. I tried to hit convincingly deep depth in my squats. I didn't make it, I don't think, on all of them to convincingly deep, but that one looked real good. I've got the laptop I'm recording off of at hip level, so this is as good as I can get to realistic depth um, on these squats. I tried to make everything harder on myself, or at least just as hard as competition. So 620 here is a PR for me. I did a 615 in the training cycle, but I think it might have been a little high. I had sweatpants on when I did it. And so I'm going to call that one a legitimate rep there for sure. Now I added in here my last lift from the competition, which was only November 2nd. I mean, it's July, it was July 14th, that was yesterday, when I did this mock meet. And so you can see this rep. This was a big jump for me on November 2nd. I was not planning on going this heavy and ended up taking the California state record with it. I had my old shoes on. I don't know if that plays a role, if my knees had to go forward further and more quads, which made it harder, but you can tell it's a little bit of a grinder there. So this is 635, 29 pounds more than that, and it's just about, 9 weeks later after that competition. I left some of my setup in here. I've been working on my back angle, especially in my lower back angle. I found that I was over rotating my hips to avoid tail tuck, and so I was actually causing some issues with some tendons in my back. But I was still a grinder, but it looked to be about the same speed as that 606. So I think this is an actual, 25, 30 pounds of strength increase, of legitimate real strength over a 9 week period, and so I'm extremely satisfied with those results. Now this is my opener, which is 420. It's a 2 pound meet PR. It's not a lifetime PR. None of my benches were that I did today, but long pause, pushed it up. Everything felt good on bench. So this is a 418 from also November 2nd, and you can see what the speed looks like on this rep. But during the cube cycle this time I put my squat and my bench day together, and I would also bench and deadlift on the same days. I was benching 3 times a week, or doing some type one day of competition bench, but then some variations on the bench press. My grip is a little wider here in this competition November. I've recently brought my grip in just a little bit, and so here's 440, which would be a 22 pound meet PR, and it's a little bit of a grinder, but I get it up, and so I was happy with that. This next attempt, 455, I miss it about halfway up, but so 22 pounds of strength. And again, I put that old footage in there from the last competition to show it's about the same bar speed, and I think it's not that I underperformed in the last meet. It's just I think I've had some really good results with the cube. That's how I felt about it all throughout the training cycle. and so I feel that's pretty good. Deadlift speed was fast today. Pointed my toes more forward than I've pointed them before, and I also did not put my shins as close to the bar when I started the lift, and I think that that's helpful. It lets me put my hips in a better position. Grip felt real solid today. That didn't seem to be a problem. So here's my opener, 610. I think my opener in the competition in November was 596. I think I'm not 100% on that. And so 610 went pretty good. I think I need to work on my deadlift form of when I bring my hips forward and getting my leg drive squared away. There seems to be some jerkiness in it, and it just doesn't seem as smooth as it should be. That one looked better. And so that was 18-pound meat PR. Was happy with that. Here's the 622 from November, and I tried. I think it was like 640 or six. It was 650 somewhere around there, and missed it in this competition, which would have been for a state record. But I really think that throwing the extra volume in the cube this cycle, as well as putting the bench and the squatting on the same day, has helped my endurance some. And so I think that helped me out in this mock meet. I cut my rest periods short on bench, and I was still able to hit good numbers, and I'm really happy about that. So here I left my setup for the deadlift in. You can see my toes, if you look at other videos, are pointed out quite a bit more than they are here. And so this is 660, which I hit during the training cycle. Yeah, so this is tying my lifetime PR at the end of a meet, or at least this mock meet that I did. And so, you'll see how this rep goes. But very satisfied with my performance overall. It was a little bit of a grinder, not too bad. I think I maybe could have done a little more, but it was slow off the floor. I really had to pull hard before it started moving. And so that leaves me with a 1735 total, which is an 89-pound meet PR in 8 weeks. Needless to say, I would say the cube works for me. I'm going to be doing the cube kingpin, keep my body guessing, and throw the volume in that way for the next cycle. But I am very appreciative to Brandon Lilly for the materials he's put out and the training program he's created through his experience. I'm glad I can learn from it. However, 89 pounds in 8 weeks is a lot. And I don't know. For me personally, I see my life from God's perspective as much as I can. I try to see how God wants me to use the things that I've given. I believe that God has given us all something we're good at. And I think that powerlifting and weightlifting in general is what mine is. So to those who are given much, much is required. I don't feel I've arrived, but I'm working hard. I have a lot of goals left, but these are my personal beliefs, and I thank you all that are watching for watching. Blessings.